If you only have 1 hour to make something today, let this be your project. It is fast, intentional, but most of all, it is really fun. You're going to get your hands dirty and get your imagination moving. And I hope that that's exactly what happens, that you are inspired to make one of your very own. I'm Ingrid Carlsen, and I'm so happy that you're here with me today. This is definitely one of my favorite projects. And if you haven't noticed the theme on my channel lately, it's note cards. I am slightly, maybe a little more than slightly, obsessed with these little note cards. And these are just from Dollar Tree. They're not even that sturdy, which you see, that's why I'm gluing them together, and it makes a really good substrate to paint on. And when I tell you that my room is filled with little paintings on note cards, with little journals with note cards, with binding method on note cards, I'm not exaggerating. They're taking over, and I'm not mad about it. I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you need to make this little project today. And number 1, it starts with that it comes together so fast. There is minimal signatures. We are going to sew them in with a sewing machine. You don't need to measure any spines. You don't need to use pre-cut papers or a lot of papers. You can really just use scraps. And this is a project that is really great for momentum building. When you're stuck, when you feel like you don't know what to make, this starts off really great because we are making our, I wouldn't say background papers, but we are making our accessory papers, I guess. And so when we are giving ourselves time to not think and to prep something with paint, it allows our mind to kind of slow down and stop racing, stop thinking about all of our to-do lists and all of the things that we're falling behind. Or is that just me? And it allows us room to breathe and to just be one with the moment. So it's a really great way to start a project. And even if you're not working on this project, if you're working on another project and you just have this wall that comes up where you feel stuck and you don't know where to begin, I would suggest that you start by painting some papers on the side. They don't have to be note cards, but note cards are really nice because they're small and they're easy to handle. And so you can get a lot done without having to think a lot or having to commit to a bigger piece of paper. Since we're on the toes of July 4th, I wanted to go with a vintage Americana patriotic feel. And I really love the bold colors of the red and the blues and the tans. And I'm thinking that you probably do too if you've clicked on this video. And so, but I wanted to open your eyes right now to the possibilities that this little project has. So think about this in a different color combo. Think about it like an 80s theme with like neon colors, or a 70s theme with sunflowers and yellows and oranges. And the possibilities are endless. The bottom line, or the base of this journal, really has a very transformative nature where it can be whatever you want. Since we're starting off with the base of it being tissue paper, really the sky's the limit. You can, at this point, make it whatever you want, whatever theme you want, and whatever colors bring you joy. I don't like measurements. I love measurements, hate measurements. It's very a complicated relationship that we have together. And if you agree, let me know down in the comments if we're in the same boat together, because I love having things that fit together and are symmetrical, but I hate when goes wrong. And so this project really is one of letting go of that and not having to be perfect, but instead leaning on our intuitiveness. I love that it's kind of messy. And here I laid down the tissue paper using some glue stick, but you could also use a Mod Podge or any kind of wet glue. And believe me, your hands are going to get messy. So starting with the painting process to the gluing process, this is one that you're going to walk away with your hands being dirty and really showing that you have created, you have played, and you have filled your heart with joy. The wonderful part is that because of the nature of this little journal, you really don't have to make anything perfect. I ended up sewing on the cover a little wonky, and it still works because it's floppy, it's fun, it's meant to be sloppy, it's meant to be irregular, it's meant to be one of a kind. And so go with that intuitive flow, and instead of worrying about the measurements and how it's supposed to be, make it your own. Change the tabs, make them circles, make them squares. Do what brings you joy. Because of the size of the note cards, this is a great project to work on with your scraps. Maybe you have little pieces that you don't know what to do with. This is the place where they belong. And maybe you don't have time to paint your own background papers and you can use your scraps instead. It really is a low pressure, everything gets used, nothing gets wasted type of project. That being said, the number 5 reason is that it is emotionally expressive. Because we have a very strong focal point, this is a great way to tell your story. This focal point tells the story without needing to use words because it is very simple. It is very dynamic. The color choices communicate a mood. And so I believe that using a strong red and a strong blue, it's kind of bold. It's powerful. And again, this is where your story can come into play, and maybe you want something that's more gentle and soft, and then your color choices can reflect that. It also feels like visual poetry. When you look at this, you can tell a story immediately, and that's what I love the very most about junk journaling. Reason number 6 goes to someone else, and that is because this is very portable and very giftable. This is a great project for you to make and give away to someone that you love. And because of the size of it, I believe it will fit in a standard mailing envelope that you can mail out pretty inexpensively. And imagine opening up an envelope and seeing this little beauty. I am sure that it would bring a smile to anyone's face. You can also put it inside of another journal. It could be a little mini journal that goes inside of a bigger journal. If you've ever watched artists, sometimes they use their sketchbooks to sketch out an idea, to paint something out that inspires them, and then they will make other pieces based on that sketchbook entry. And I think that that is something here where you can use this as inspiration to build another journal. Imagine this tucked inside of a folio. I think that would be almost perfection. And reason number 7 is that it reminds you that fast doesn't mean thoughtless. You can still make something that is deliberate, that is beautiful, and that is quick. Sometimes it's that simplicity that brings clarity to the design, just like we were talking about with the bold focal point. It's in the little details where you can really shine, and it shows that beauty doesn't require a ton of labor. It also is a project that can build your confidence and your creative voice, especially when you don't have a lot of time. I hope that this project has inspired you to make one of your very own, or maybe take some pieces of the design process to make your own. I want to thank you so much for being here, for all of your love and support, and I wanted to remind you today that you matter. Your voice deserves to be heard, no matter how soft it is, no matter how loud it is. You are beautiful and you are loved unconditionally. Until next time, love you. Bye.